Hey guys, Ken here from the Retro Toy Escapades channel in Malaysia. Special thanks to Roy Juarez for posting up the scans of the mini comic that's included with the new HE-SKELETOR exclusive figure. I didn't get the figure, but I was interested in checking out the comic, so here's my look at Crisis at the Multicore. Now the story starts off with a green and scaly-skinned version of He-Man who's riding on a dragon-like creature towards a Castle Grayskull variant that's got like a snake head structure in front. This is clearly an alternate dimension and not your father's Eternia, okay? Now, this He-Man looks like a cross between a Snake Man and a hot slime pit zombie. Now, I'm not sure which one is it, okay? But if they made a Creations exclusive of this as an action figure and they included this much detailing on it, I'm definitely getting it, okay? Now, a creature bursts out of the ground and you see the words Doom on the page. But it might as well just be Dune, okay? Because it looks like the sandworm monster from that franchise. Anyway, this thing looks like it's about to swallow up the green skin He-Man, and then it seems to change course and instead gobbles up the castle. Okay, then there's an explosion here. Kaboom! Presumably, everything has been destroyed. Okay, the scene then shifts. Skeletor is visited by the Green Goddess, or just the Goddess, depending on your preference. Also, her appearance here helps to give even more weight to her Origins Wave 6 repainted figure, hundreds of which are still left unsold on the shelves here in Malaysia. Okay, the goddess says that all of Eternia needs Skeletor's help to stop something terrible that's coming. She doesn't really get into the specifics other than saying that there's something out there destroying universes and it's coming for Eternia. But Skeletor is not having it either way, okay? He's like, piss off, you wench, on your knees and bow down. But then she reveals that it was her who gave Skeletor his half of the power sword to save Eternia when the darkness would arrive. Okay, this also connects back to the scene in the Assassin's Aim mini comic from Wave 12 where the sword is seen materializing in front of Skeletor. So you see, it's all connected. Okay, now Skeletor hears all this, but he still decides that nope, I don't give a shit. Okay, then the scene shifts again. This time we see a Keldor from another dimension being visited upon by He-Man. Okay, interestingly, He-Man here is seen holding on to what appears to be the Cosmic Key, okay, which is the same device that was used to travel dimensions in the 1987 live-action movie. Damn, son! Now, these are some legit Easter eggs right there. Okay, Keldor is depicted as having a very flippant and indifferent tone, which is exactly how we want to see him, especially since his included action figure is just a lazy repaint and of little personality. Keldor is like, oh great, it's He-Man, just what I don't need. Okay, what is it now? And I like it when characters are depicted like this, don't ask me why. It's just a reluctant hero thing, it's like Bruce Willis at the start of Die Hard 3 where he's like, what's this got to do with me? Anybody got some aspirin? I got a bad fucking hangover. Okay, anyway, He-Man goes into more detail on what is threatening Eternia, and it's a huge space worm that's hungry for the power of Grayskull, and it's floating through realities, consuming universes that have a Castle Grayskull in them, and now it's nearing He-Man's Eternia, which is the Eternia that we know the most of, and which is apparently the center of power in the universe. Keldor is like, yeah, okay, sure, that sucks, but what do I have to do with it? Okay, it turns out He-Man needs Keldor's alter ego, HE-SKELETOR. Now, while explaining all this, He-Man is seen helping himself to a drink that's served in a merchandise mug with the poster art for the 2002 Masters series on it, okay? Check this out. And you'd be expecting to see weird, crazy shit like this, okay? Because it's a multiverse thing. These two heroes then turn up at the entrance of Snake Mountain. There doesn't appear to be any security, so apparently they can just walk in. He-Man explains to Keldor that only he can wield Skeletor's power sword, and therefore he's got to handle this thing. Apparently he just leaves Keldor there. Why don't they fight together? I'm not sure, okay? But yeah, He-Man runs off to do something. Keldor squares off against Skeletor alone in a battle of steel to seize the power sword. However, I'm not really clear on what actually happens here. First of all, the whole fight scene only takes place for like one single panel. And it seems like in the next panel here, I think that Keldor's already obtained the power sword in his hands. And he just sort of like commands Skeletor to sleep, okay? And he kind of like just pokes him in the head. And it seems like this purplish mist just appears. So it's not really clear if he's actually using Skeletor's power sword to do this or if he's using his own blade, which has his own powers. I'm not really sure, okay? However, okay, he has the power sword and this whole thing is just over and done with in like, 1 to 2 panels. And then He-Man turns out. Where's he been? Apparently, he's been out scouting for a vehicle for them to use. This skull-faced flying craft that looks really cool. Has this thing actually appeared in some other, form of a He-Man story elsewhere? I'm not really sure. It looks familiar. You guys gonna let me know in the comment section. Okay, so both of these guys are now chasing down the Uni-Eater. The Uni-Eater is just cruising, looking for more Castle Grayskulls to swallow. And it says here that they're heading into something called the Breach. I'm not really sure actually how the scene transitioned, but they apparently entered this other area, which is like, as explained by He-Man here, supposed to be a graveyard of fallen universes. Now, this whole visual here is like presented in a sprawling wide screen, kind of like 2-page shot. It just looks freaking amazing. These mini comics are already so wafer thin, okay, like sometimes 6, other times 10 pages. Okay, so the opportunity to get something like a splash page, whoa, okay, I mean, it just takes your breath away. One thing that you'll definitely spot here is this giant box, okay, from Mattel, okay, the actual packaging box for the Castle Grayskull toy from the 1980s. What the hell is this thing doing here? Okay, it's freaking amazing. It's a great cameo here. Now, the actual scan of this page, which was put out by Mattel on Instagram, wasn't too clear. I can't really make out the words of the box here, so I had to get my friend Curtis Knight on Instagram to send me a scan of the actual comic that he had in his hands. Okay, so he sent this page over. Thank you so much, Curtis. You can see the words here way more clearly. Castle Grayskull. This is obviously the international box because he also says Le Chateau des Hombres. Okay, so it's the international edition box, but perhaps for a clearer representation of the box, why don't we just bring out the fucking original one from the 80s? That's it. Okay, we got it right here, guys. Okay, the original packaging box for Castle Grayskull. I actually got this thing a couple of years ago for pretty cheap. Okay, this was back during the time when nobody was talking about MOTU. The only guy on YouTube that was doing MOTU videos was Pixel Dan. Okay, so I got this thing from a guy in the US a couple of years ago, and he let it go for pretty cheap, the original packaging box. It came with Castle Grayskull, of course, a version of it. And you know what? I hear sometimes, you guys in the comment section telling me stuff like, I got to get all my stuff from Malaysia. The figures are in Malaysia. I got to get them shipped over to the US. Guys, trust me, I understand how you feel because I've been getting my stuff from the US all my life, okay? Okay, but I just got one question though, because they're in this area here, which is like a graveyard of fallen universes where only Castle Grayskulls remain. And the toy box for this Castle Grayskull that we're seeing here could have only come from Earth, right? So does that mean that the Earth that we live in, that the Earth that we know, is now a fallen universe as well? Okay, fallen to the Uni-Eater? What do you guys think? Anyway, both of these guys then reach something called the Cosmic Grayskull. Okay, a highly detailed version of Castle Grayskull. It looks like the classics one almost. Okay, just like with powers swimming around it. And apparently this is like the mother of all Castle Grayskulls. It says here that it was once the core of a dead parallel multiverse. Okay, so yeah, so there was like another multiverse in addition to the one that we're seeing here right now. Another one altogether, but it's just that one's dead. This thing came from there. Apparently, the Uni-Eater's power source comes from this Cosmic Grayskull. He-Man then tells Keldor, it is time. Okay, it is time to become HE-SKELETOR. And Keldor just goes, yeah, sure, piece of cake. Give me something harder next time. It's like a Bruce Willis line, man. I love it. Okay, he transforms. That's right, okay. He transforms into HE-SKELETOR. And yeah, it's pretty much a moment there. Does he look anything like the action figure that you guys have in your hands? I think that, like I said, okay, the depiction of this character in the comic is great, okay? I'm not sure if that makes the action figure better by comparison. Let me know. Okay, so then these two guys are about to enter the Cosmic Grayskull when suddenly they are stopped in their tracks by an emerging entity of immense power. Something known as the Null Sorceress. Man, okay, are we talking about some kind of reversed, evilly engineered version of the Sorceress? Possibly, okay, because whatever the hell this thing is, it's evil, okay? And it says here, okay, it promises them something of a galactic dark age that is inevitable. That's right, okay? And then she just goes on to say, suffer the pain of 1,000 deaths before I annihilate all that ever was. And then He-Man just goes, lady, the only thing making me suffer is your long speech. But I kind of feel that HE-SKELETOR should have said that line instead. Anyway, while all hope seems lost, both of these heroes realize that the only way to stop this crazy witch is to combine their power swords together, okay? And so the power is unleashed. The Null Sorceress is powerless against its might, despite her incredible command of English, okay, her breathtaking vocabulary, right? She is powerless against the combined might of the power sword. Just see her screaming. Okay, so both these guys just straight up demolished the Null Sorceress. Okay, it's over. It says here that apparently the Uniter ended up collapsing on itself in the wake of all this destruction. And somehow as well, okay, all of the fallen Grayskulls have been restored to their original universes. Okay, that seems like a really amazing way to tidy things up. And that also means that somewhere on Earth, okay, one lucky kid is going to be getting his hands on that box of Castle Grayskull, okay? Okay, so the day is won. The battle is over. Our two heroes are then seen chilling at the tavern, knocking back a few, sipping some brew, and then He-Man just says to Kaldor that he's going to need that power sword back, all right? But Kaldor, just in a moment of sheer machoism, tells him, let's arm wrestle for it. You know, arm wrestling, when you see it being depicted in movies, comics, wherever, it's always such an 80s moment, okay? Stallone, over the top. Okay, guys, okay, so that's my look at Crisis at the Multicore. A really fun read. It really gave me the vibe of something like a buddy cop thriller from the 1980s, like, you know, Tango and Cash, you know, one of those things, okay? Let me know what you guys thought of it in the comment section below. Thank you for checking out the entire video. This one's one of the longer ones, okay? I think it's exceeded something like 10 minutes if you stayed to the end. Congrats! Okay, I'll catch you guys again real soon with more content. Take care out there.